Yeah, maybe an edible. If I know you're like a pothead, I spike you with like a strong edible. That's different.
But someone slips you a tab of acid in your soup or something.
Yeah, no, I'm not down with that shit. I'm not cool with, like, even if it was like somebody I knew who dabbled and the environment was right, it's like, no.
Bro,
You make that decision or you don't.
I'd fight that person.
Right? Like,
As soon as I like got sober, bro, it's like it's on like Donkey Kong.
and I'm not telling you when I get sober. Like, you don't know when it's coming. Hello and welcome to another episode of 7 Days Makes 1 Week. I'm Freddie P, back in the place to be. We're not even in Zach's living room this time, we're in Zach's sauna. It's sweating, it's hot in here, the fucking humidity is up. Joined immediately to my left is my good friend, probably my longest friend I've had in my life, Mr. Josh Wesley, aka Mr. Joe West.
Hello,
aka Mr. Just Chopped His Hair, but he was the gnarliest hair ever. Behind the camera, we have Zach, producer Zach, as always, keeping us correct with the microphones and the audio visual. None of you guys know what Zach looks like, but you can see Josh and I. We're all long-haired hippies today. We're the dirty heads and the place to be. How's everybody today?
Not bad. Just pretty happy. Got my new car yesterday, so
What'd you get?
in a pretty good mood. I got Toyota Camry Hybrid.
Oh, sick.
Yeah.
Is it the white and black one?
Yeah, it's silver.
Oh, sick. Okay.
Yeah.
Yo, not to cut you guys off, I was at like a birthday party yesterday, and this girl said the funniest fucking thing. Her and her husband were talking about it was still early in the night, one or two drinks had happened, but it's the conversation of like, okay, which one of us keeps going and which one of us stops at this moment. And the girl's like, I don't know, I feel pretty good. She's like, you know what, at the end of the day, I'll just put it in and I'll tell my car how to get home. So I'm thinking, oh shit, they got a Tesla. And the guy next to me is like, your car doesn't have auto drive. And she stops for a second, looks at it, she goes, hybrid. I fucking died laughing. I was like, that's the funniest fucking thing. She was like, it's a hybrid. And we were like, all right, so you keep drinking and I'm going to stop. And then me and the guy were just dying laughing. But yeah, I imagine you're super excited about that. Tell us about it.
Yeah, no, it's pretty good. Pretty much just got it because didn't want to get a truck because I work at a dealership, so could have got a good deal on a truck, but I'm not really a truck guy at all, so got this little Camry, rock it for the winter, and maybe sell it to an Uber driver in the summer.
That's actually such a solid plan.
Right? I'm like,
I don't like driving trucks either, and I got to drive one for work every day, so I feel you on that one.
Yeah, and I had one, and I'll probably never have another one again. All it gets you is like people asking you to move shit.
And lots of fuel.
Yeah, especially the engine I had was like the Corvette engine, and like yeah.
What kind of truck did you have?
2020 GMC Denali.
Oh, okay, sick.
Yeah, because I work at GM, but like but like one of my friends, he's like, yeah, you want to help me move some rocks? And I was like, what do you mean, like a bag of rocks? He's like, no, like a truck full. And I was like,
Like boulders?
no, like for his garden.
Gravel.
Oh, okay.
Like
I gotcha.
gravel, yeah. And I was like, not really, man. He's like, oh, come on. And I was like, can't they like deliver it? He's like, yeah, it's like $80. I was like, yeah, like do that. Like, what?
I'll give you the $80 to
Right?
save
Like,
the bed of my
what do you
truck.
mean, bro? Like, I'm not down with that. So, yeah. And a couple other people are like, oh, you want to help me move? And I'm like, I guess like a few things, but like, yeah, having a truck is not worth it. I don't do any like truck stuff. I don't have anything to tow, so
You helped me move, I think, with your truck. I think you threw a little bit.
yeah. So like, and another buddy I had to help move too, and it's like that's all I did with my truck is like help people move, and I'm like,
You owed me though, motherfucker. You
Of
weren't saying no
course.
to me.
No,
I've
of
helped this
course
guy
not.
move like 8 fucking times. I had to move
Probably
once. I
more.
was like,
That's how you can tell if you're friends with somebody, is if you can help them move multiple times, and even if you guys get into a fight about it, you're still
oh
fucking...
man, I helped him move in the dead of winter once. That was the fucking worst. But no, I mean, I love his mom like she's my mom, right? So if they ever ask me any favors, it's never a problem. But they always hooked up like beer and pizza at the end. Even if they didn't, it was whatever. But when it came time for me to move, I asked people. I told him like, "Yo, we're moving on this day." He's like, "Yeah, all right." Like, sorry, dog,
Didn't
but
ask.
unless you're really busy that day, you're helping me.
yeah, that was all good. I had nothing like against that because, like I said, he helped me move a dozen times at least, probably. I'll never forget this one time. You remember Ryan? We're moving, and my dad challenged one of my friends. This kid's probably like 16 at the time, like 140 pounds, and he's like trying to move this dryer, like a full dryer. And I don't remember exactly what my dad said, but he basically called him a pussy and said he couldn't do it alone. So this like kid like picks up this dryer and like starts to walk with it, like struggling so hard to like hold this thing up, and like he made it a few steps, and then I think he ended up dropping it, but it was pretty funny. Just the way he called. He was like a 15-year-old kid, man. Like
feel like everyone's probably got a good moving story where they dropped some shit or something went south. They maybe didn't connect the trailer properly or
Right.
something like that.
Well, last time I was moving, I just about lost my finger. I was trying to move like my couch or dresser inside. I don't remember, but it didn't really quite fit, so we had to back out. And then the door caught my pinky and the dresser, and like it instantly like turned all black and was like blood was coming out of it, and I was like it cut into me with like two blunt edges. So like I damn near lost my fingertip, but luckily that didn't happen.
Have you ever had like a near miss moving anything?
Not moving anything, but near miss like paving. I've had a bad one last year. We have on the paver we have a spray down bar where you can spray. It's like it looks like a little water hose, but it sprays diesel, so you can spray the mat or your equipment or whatever. And sometimes you got to bleed the valve to reset it. And I was bleeding it, and there's an air intake next to it, and my hair was down. And fucking, I just felt a couple hair strings started going towards the fucking intake, and I ripped my head back, and I looked back, and there was like 6, 7 fucking long strands coming out. So ever since then, I put my hair in a ponytail at work, because if that, I probably might have got scalped on that one.
Damn. I used to work at a office furniture company. He actually worked there too for a little bit. I'm good. I'm gonna do this. Me and this other guy were moving filing cabinets, and I told him, like, yo, check the top of that thing to see if there's anything up there. And he told me he did, and he didn't. And then he lifted his end before I lifted mine, and I heard something sliding, and I look up, and a fucking, like, 50-pound counterweight's coming right at my head. I move real quick, and it hits something behind me. I lose my fucking mind. I'm, like, 17 at the time. Like, we were still in high school. Like, I didn't even have the couth to, like, try and stay cool at work. I lose my fucking mind. I'm like, dude, let's fight. Like, I'm about to beat the fuck out of you. And then he went to my manager, Mean Gene, and
Nice.
Gene came and talked to me, and he's like, yo, you're, like, telling this guy you're gonna beat him up and shit? And I told him the whole story, and he, like, yeah, he's like, dude, go outside, have a smoke, like, do whatever you gotta do. And then I heard him telling the other guy, because the other guy was, like, 30 or something at the time. He was kind of a fucking bum, but, like, he was a grown man. And then, yeah, I heard him yelling. I'm like, yo, you could have killed that fucking kid. Like, you legitimately could have killed that fucking kid. Like, no, he has every right to want to beat the shit out of you. But I never did. He was actually a pretty good guy. It's just, he had to apologize to me for that one. I was like, sorry, dude, you fucked up. Couple topics we're going to get today. One, I got a nice soccer jersey here signed by Edmonton's own Alphonso Davies. Went and met him yesterday.
That's dope.
Yeah,
Where'd you
so
do
that's
that?
super cool. Yesterday afternoon, Nico is in like a card collectible, the soccer cards and shit. And like a week ago, they said that he was gonna be at some. It was called whatever. We'll plug it. It was called Daddy's Burgers or Big Daddy Burger or something like that. And it's up in like the northeast side of Edmonton, like 43rd Street and 160 something Ave, something way up there. And yeah, it was just a burger place. A couple of the people in line told me it like just opened. It used to be like a chicken place or something. So I'm assuming the owner knows the guy or something. But yeah, he was there from. It was supposed to be from 1 till 4 o'clock. I got there at like 11:30. The line he was there at 11:30 when I showed up, and they started early. They started at noon. I'm assuming it's just like, well, I'm here. The line's here. We might as well, which is super cool. Props to him for that. Most of the time, if you go to like a Comic-Con and shit like that, it costs money to get the celebrity signature. And then they usually ask you what your name is, specifically if they're athletes and you're signing memorabilia. They usually ask you what your name is so that they'll sign your name so that you can't re-sign it. Like, you'd have to find someone else named Fred that wants to buy this or whatever. And no, zero cost. They were selling burgers. I did buy one of the burgers, and it was pretty good. If you're ever in that area, go eat there. And half the money was going to the stallery, and yeah, the signature was free, so I just brought my jersey, he signed it, and I did say something to him, but he didn't really reply to me.
What'd you say?
I'm a big Barcelona fan. He didn't play for Barcelona, so I said, I look forward to seeing you line up for Barcelona in a few seasons. He went, huh. I was like, oh, that's not gonna happen. That's not gonna happen. But yeah, it was cool. Nico, I can't remember what Nico said to him. I think he just said like, "Hey man, how's it going?" He was like, "No man, really good." You and like you, my mom when I was telling her about it was like, "Did he seem like a nice guy?" And I was like, "Well, nice enough. I mean, he seemed like a guy that had to sit there for 5 hours signing fucking signatures. Like you could tell it was like, I don't expect this guy to be in the fucking ecstatic that he's got to sit here and do this for fucking 5 hours. But no, he was super nice about it. I saw him interacting with some of the kids that went up there and stuff, and he was super cool about that. So props to him for coming back to Edmonton helping charities around the city. That's actually super cool for him. But yeah, got a signed Alphonso Davies jersey, so I'll probably get that framed or something. That was pretty cool. Another things we're gonna talk about.
Hold on, real quick.
Yeah.
So about signatures, I actually like learned something like pretty like interesting recently. So I guess like a lot of the like big guys in like any sport, they actually like sign contracts with companies to like not sign their signature. So like the like card companies and like these like collector companies like pay these guys like hundreds of thousands of dollars to like not sign their signature unless it's like at their events and like, or it's like they have to put their name on it or whatever. Like they can't just like sign their signature like on anything that they want. Like they're like contractually bound to like not give their signature away. And like I was like, that's super interesting. Like I wonder how long that's been like a thing for.
Probably the last like 20 years. Like I think memorabilia has really stepped up in like the 2000s.
The internet game,
especially with the internet. Yeah. One thing I did notice on this signature, I mean, I won't show the camera, but there's a part in his signature where it comes vertically up. And there is a video on his Instagram that when he signed it, then he signs a number 1 and a 9 on each side of that line. None of the signatures he did for us, he put that 1 and that 9 there. That almost makes me believe that he probably has like an official signature somewhere that has that 1 and a 9. So these things people could debate that it's not really his signature. That's a conspiracy. I don't know if that's actually true, but I could see that happening where it's like, because one of my friends got a opportunity to meet Connor McDavid, and shout out TJ, he's one of our listeners. The fucking guy, I love the guy for it, but I asked him what the fuck he was thinking too. He goes to meet Connor McDavid at a day before they're playing the Washington Capitals. So he takes off the McDavid jersey, and underneath it he's got one of those t-shirt jerseys of fucking Alexander Ovechkin, or no, a Russia shirt or something. It was an Ovechkin shirt or a Russian shirt or something. And from what he tells me, McDavid was like doesn't swear, but like, the fuck is this? And he's like, oh man, like I like him too. Like you're a guy that I like, but I like him too. And I guess hockey players always sign, like same thing with Alphonso Davies here. Like you can see, like they always sign in the number of the jersey, almost always. Josh's boss, I used to work at the same dealership. The boss has like 4 or 5 hockey jerseys in his office, signed by, different players he's met and whatnot. So after my friend told me this story, I was like, damn, I wonder if that's true. So my friend Tyler and his friend both get signatures. McDavid signs in the number of his friend Steve's. Of his, he signs in between the 2 numbers, not in either of the 9 or the 7. And he's like, yeah, man, apparently he like did some research, and all of the people are like, yeah, that's pretty much like worth jack shit now. Like if they don't sign the numbers, it don't mean shit. Like he did that on purpose, probably because you were wearing that Russian shirt. When you walk by Phil's office, look, every single one of them is in the number. They write messages, it's all in the number. I'm like, yo, Connor McDavid was like, fuck this guy. And I signed not in the numbers for his jersey. I swear to God, he like said, fuck this guy, which is hilarious.
Well, Phil was actually telling me a story. He got a basketball signed by Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Sick.
And when he was like doing it, he was like kind of like talking to the guy's like manager to like line it up and everything like that. And I guess like, he was like kind of like him and Han, and he just kind of like brought the ball anyways. He never got an okay, and then he like went up there and he like gave the ball to him, and he like, you could see him like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar like look at his manager and then like look back at the ball and then like look at his manager, and his manager like shrugged and he just like signed it. And then like I guess as Phil was leaving, his manager like ran up and like made sure that it said to Phil, and it didn't. So he's like, no, like write like to Phil on that, and like make sure that it, like, can't do anything with it. Like Phil's not the kind of guy that would do something with it anyways, but it's just like how alert they were to make sure that like that happened.
Yeah, he's not flipping that ball. That's a personal collection.
100%.
That's like the same thing with this. I mean, if they would have asked, I would have had no problem saying to Fred. Like I have no intentions of flipping. I mean, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Alphonso Davies are much different.
Well, how many jerseys do you have? Like
soccer jerseys?
Yeah.
Signed or just?
Well, signed just one.
Oh.
But jerseys, period, honestly, probably like... Fuck, I don't even... 15, 20? Like, there's some that I don't even keep in my active closet. Like, they're just in a tote somewhere. And if I was to count, like, football jerseys, basketball jerseys, and soccer jerseys, 30, I would say, minimum. I probably have, like, 10 to 15 just Barcelona jerseys.
Yeah, where you're getting them every year when the like new one came out.
Yeah,
like, when
that's
we were
the thing
kids,
with soccer is they fuck you, man. Like, they do a new one every year. And like,
so that you got to stay current and buy
you don't have to. And there's 1 or 2 years that I've skipped, but, like, when that's your team, you're like, fuck, that's a sick jersey. You know, like you want to get the new one because you think it looks dope.
And it'll be like the lines are like 3 millimeters smaller on the next year's jersey, and it's like they want you to pay another like $150 or whatever for it.
Are soccer jerseys, are all jerseys, do you think, the same price across the board, or are there ones that are lower, higher, like hockey versus football versus basketball versus soccer? What would you say? Because I got this from Value Village, and this is probably the only jersey I own. So
I know soccer jerseys are usually like $100 in stores, if I remember correctly. Usually now I want to get a name on the back, so I order them online a lot of the time. I'll get like extra gear, like pants or a toque or something. So I order online a lot. But I think hockey might be more expensive. But from what I remember, basketball and soccer were both like right in around $100.
Well, I'd have to say hockey's probably more because it's like the most material,
Yeah.
right? All those extra things, and like, yeah, you can get like cheap Chinese ones, but like an authentic hockey jersey is a couple $100. And like Fred said, like soccer and basketball jerseys are maybe like 100 or so, you know, but it's a lot less material, right? With the full sleeves and the extra like things on the back, but who knows really? So,
and of course, if you put a name on it, it's gonna be more expensive too. But that's the nice thing about basketball jerseys is like you almost never find them without the name and the number. Like think about it. When was the last time you saw a Los Angeles Lakers jersey or a Toronto Raptors jersey that didn't have a name or a number on it? Like it's pretty rare that they don't have a name or a number. Whereas other sports, you got to pay extra for the name and the number to be on the back of it. Like it's easy to find an Oilers jersey without McDavid or Draisaitl. Way easier than and like football. How often do you really see football jerseys with the name? Well, actually, no, that's not true. You do see that quite a bit, but it's easier to find those sports without the name and the number than it is basketball.
When soccer's probably like 50-50 almost. Like a lot of the jerseys don't have any names.
Less than that. Anytime I've ever had to get the name and the number and you want an authentic jersey, I mean, you go to West Edmonton Mall and get one at the fucking kiosk in the middle of the stand, but, you know, it's not authentic if that means anything to you. But if you went to like a Eurosport or whatever, to the best of my knowledge, I don't ever remember seeing named jerseys in there, which makes no sense because like you're gonna sell like Messi and Ronaldo jerseys. But yeah, I would always just see Barcelona and Madrid and all that kind of stuff.
Maybe there's some kind of contract in soccer they have to like pay the players if they put their names on it, so they just like make generic jerseys, so they don't have to pay them. Because I could see soccer being slimy like that. It's probably like, what do you say?
All sports are slimy like that, where you get parts of your jersey sales.
Yeah, but like, what do you say would be the most corrupt sport?
Soccer.
100%. I agree, and I know nothing
100%.
about soccer, but I would agree.
It's not even close. The group that sat on FIFA, the board or whatever, that awarded Qatar, whatever, the World Cup for this winter. Oh, fuck. I don't know the exact numbers, but it's like 80% of the people or 90% of the people or something like that have either been arrested and like getting prosecuted or charged with corruption. Like FIFA's so fucking corrupt. Multiple leagues are corrupt. Even like one of the biggest teams in the world, Juventus, in like the 2000s, they got like sent down, like they got relegated automatically because it found out that they were match fixing. African players lying about how old they are. Like soccer's fucking wild, yo.
Yeah, that being said, like that's a lot of like the back end stuff, but like a lot of people say like NBA's rigged because the finals like the actual NBA's interfering with the game. Do you think that happens like as much in soccer? Or is it like more of like all the people that run the show that are just like corrupt and like in these like other countries?
The individual leagues, no. Like I do now know what you're saying, like the NBA reffing betting scandal, which is true. Like the legitimately the referees were betting on games and affecting the output of the games. But well, that is what happened to Juventus. It was a betting scandal where they were, I think. I could be wrong, but I think what they did was not even necessarily do the referees of the games they're playing in. You do the referees of games in your competition that you're not playing in to try and make like one smoke screen. So it's like you against Zach, but me and you were battling for first place. I bet the referees to get Zach, who's in like 9th place, the win. So that's easier for me and you to like get a gap or whatever. I could be wrong, but I think that's what Juventus did. But FIFA, yes, because that's that like legitimately, dude. The last 2 World Cups went to Russia and Qatar. Like corruption.
All about the Benjamins.
Exactly, all about the Benjamins. Exactly. So the organization of FIFA, yeah, corrupt as fuck. The individual, like, do I think there's next to any corruption in like the Premier League? No, I don't think there is. I mean, every fan is gonna say like, oh, a Liverpool fan's gonna be like, oh, City got a penalty because the Premier League wants City to win. I don't think the Premier League really wants. If the Stanley Cup Finals this year, Tampa Bay, if they won, would have like three-peated. And Colorado has a really good team, but there's been like two things in the finals that have like both broke Colorado's way. So all these people are like, oh no, the NHL doesn't want to see a three-peat. They want a new winner, which like, yeah, maybe, but
I'm sure they'd like a dynasty. Like dynasties like build a lot of
fans.
Yeah.
Like hype, yeah.
Get a lot of people jumping on that bandwagon that normally probably wouldn't.
I agree.
Like how many people became Patriot fans because Tom Brady?
Right? Or how many Golden State Warrior fans did you know before Steph Curry?
Whitey?
I don't even know if he was. He might have hopped on that train too. I have no idea.
Well, how long has Steph been in the league?
Gotta be like
Since
10 years.
2000. Let me check real quick. But they did have Baron Davis before, so
The We Believe Warriors.
yeah. And they also had Monte Ellis for a bit, who was
Yeah.
sick, but not really.
He might even have it tattooed on him,
Whitey?
doesn't he? Or just like I just remember all of his like dab stuff was all like
Warriors.
Golden State Warriors, like dab mats and like things like that. So
Yeah,
He was-
he had a dab mat that was like a basketball court, and it was the Golden State Warriors. That was actually a cool dab mat.
Curry was drafted in 2009. But I
Yeah,
saw a
so he's still
stat that
12
said
years.
LeBron's got 4 championships in 19 years, and Steph's got 4 championships in 13 years.
Kobe had 5 in 20.
I guess so. I guess that doesn't really make too much.
Sure it does. Dirk only had 1 in 20.
And he was still a legend.
He's like top 5 or top 10 in scoring. If you're top 10 in scoring in your sport, you're one of the greatest of all times, clearly. Thanks, Captain Obvious.
he's actually got a pretty wild like story, Dirk,
Yeah, you guys seen the Dirk Nowitzki documentary?
with his like crazy coach.
Oh, yeah. That was that came out a while ago, though, right? It's not relatively
so.
recent. Yeah.
No, yeah, that he was like getting scammed by some chick that was a stripper, and she was trying to fuck him over. And then he found a different woman in Dallas, and it's funny because there's memes about it. It's like, Dirk found a good woman because he's showing up with food from the cookout, and he'd be like walking into a game with a plate with another plate on top, and just walking in with food, and it's like he found him a good woman, sending him to work with a fucking meal, and it's like, I work for the Dallas Mavericks. Like, everything's catered. We're good. A couple things that we did want to talk about. The first one we'll get to right before our Would You Rathers or Fun Facts, but it's something that I'm stealing from another podcast, and it was a question that was asked for them. The original question, I'll give you guys a little time to think about this, then we'll get back to it. The original question was, if you could listen to one album again for the very first time, which album would it be? Then they kind of made like a caveat to include TV shows and movies. Which TV show, movie, or album could you do for the first time ever? So think about that for a little bit. I know Zach can already answer. But another thing that Zach wanted to talk about, which, I mean, I'm going out on a limb here, I think, but probably not because I know him pretty well. Josh and I aren't going to be very educated on, but this Roe versus Wade. The abortion stuff in the States, you know anything about it?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah,
I just wanted to
Reddit.
do a quick little blurb.
Yeah,
on it, that's all.
no, we can talk about it. I don't mind talking about it. I'm just not very educated on it, so just take like a minute or two here to explain to us what the fuck's even happening.
You want to do that now, or do you want to do that after we do your question?
No. Well, can you guys do the other one now? Can you guys think of what it would be?
Well, I for sure got a TV show and probably a movie. I don't know about
Okay.
music.
I've been
I listen
thinking
to
about
so
it for the
much
last like
music,
3 or
man.
4 days.
I
so.
could name all 3 right now, probably.
Okay, well, yeah, go first.
Oh, you want me to go first?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the TV show that I could watch ago again from scratch would be 2. Scrubs, probably. You guys ever seen Scrubs?
Yeah.
And then I would also like to watch The Wire from the beginning again. And then I could also add Sopranos into that. And then in terms of movies, I would like to watch Star Wars: A New Hope for the first time again.
That's the first. Like,
That's the original. Well, it's number 4, but it's the first one ever made.
Yeah, the OG.
That's right.
Yeah.
And I would love to watch that again. And as far as albums go, it's very embarrassing. But not embarrassing. The first album I ever bought was Offspring Americana, and I love that album. But I think I like Coldplay Viva La Vida.
I never listened to Coldplay much, but I did listen. Did you ever listen to Viva La Hova?
Yeah.
No,
I was just
what's
gonna
that?
say-
Some
that
DJ mashed
Jay-Z?
Viva La. What was
Vida?
it? Vida?
Yeah.
Some DJ mashed together Viva La Vida and Jay-Z and called it Viva La Hova. And you know how the cover of Viva La Vida is like that very like Renaissance
It's a Renaissance
looking...
paint, yeah.
Yeah, so they throw like gold chains on them and
That's
Yankee
sick.
hats and Timbs,
I gotta
and
check
it's
that
called
out.
Viva La Hova. There's two really good ones. I mean, Collision Course, obviously, everybody knows about Collision Course, Jay-Z and Linkin Park. But then there's Viva La Hova.
I wouldn't say everybody knows about that, Fred.
Well, most of the people that listening to our show should know that Jay-Z and Linkin Park did a collab album. I guess, yeah, I'm assuming a lot there. Jay-Z and Linkin Park did a collab album, too. It's only 6 songs long. It's called Collision Course. And then Viva La Hova is a mixtape. Then there's another mixtape called The Grey Album, where somebody mixtaped Jay-Z's The Black Album and the Beatles' The White Album into The Grey Album.
I don't know any of that. I gotta check that out for sure.
I actually know this guy's a DJ. He made a mix. It was all Biggie, like lyrics, put over Frank Sinatra instrumentals. It was so sick.
That's pretty
You
sick.
know Sean Lamb.
Oh, yeah? That's sick.
Yeah, it sounded so cool, man.
There's a Biggie song. I think it's an original song, but it's put over Billie Jean by Michael Jackson, and it's pretty incredible. This that rhythm, and then he's just talking about chicks that he's with, and it's very, very funny. How about
Billie
you guys?
Jean's actually a crazy song because it's like such an upbeat, hype song that so many people like. But if you actually listen to the lyrics, it's about like Michael Jackson telling a girl that he knocked up that's not his kid. Like, that's actually wild.
It's crazy how many songs are actually like not like that specifically, but like you've like kids that like songs you listen to when you're a kid, and then like later you like listen to them and you like actually like realize what they mean, and it's like, damn, like I was rocking out to this when I was a kid, and it's like, yo.
even like a couple years ago, I remember seeing a thing on Reddit that The Weeknd won the Nickelodeon award for like Song of the Year for I Can't Feel My Face, and he even put out a thing on like a little. He was just like, this song is literally about me doing cocaine, and I hardly tried to hide it. Like, it's quite clear this whole song is about me doing cocaine. Why am I winning a child's award for this? Like, what is wrong with you, Nickelodeon? I shouldn't even have been nominated for this fucking shit. Even if all these kids are singing it, I shouldn't even be nominated for this shit.
Wu-Tang is for the children.
Wu-Tang is for the children, though.
Oh, I totally forgot Enter the 36 Chambers. That's a sick album. Fuck. I should have thought longer on it.
Fucked up.
I
What
did.
about you? Yeah, see, you rushed it. You rushed the process.
My album, I don't know. I can't say an album for sure, but TV show, I'd probably have to say Breaking Bad. Like watching that again and like just seeing like just being able to like not have to wait for episode after episode, and like if you never watch it and just being able to like sit down and watch like it in like big batches that'd be pretty awesome. And then for my movie, I'd definitely have to say I got 2, probably Fight Club because that movie's epic, or Lucky Number 11. When I seen that movie in the theaters, it was like one of the first times I was actually like that shit fucked me up, man. I did not expect that ending. Usually I'm like pretty good at like kind of anticipating what's going to happen in a movie, but like I did not see that one coming.
Is that the one with Josh Hartnett?
Yeah.
Okay.
And Bruce Willis.
Yeah, that's a good movie for
Lucy
sure.
Liu.
I should have thought
Morgan
longer.
Freeman.
Yeah.
Like there's some good actors in that movie.
Yeah. I can't remember the name, but the other old gangster is Sir Kingsley Knightley or some shit
Ben.
like that. Ben
Ben
guy.
Kingsley.
Yeah, that guy. I remember you were actually really... I went and saw that movie just because Josh was so hyped about telling me to go see that movie. And see, I kind of agree with Josh more on them that, like, he picked things that have, like, Breaking Bad has a lot of, like, cliffhangers, and Lucky Number 11 and Fight Club have a lot of, like the big misdirection, the big...
Twists and turns.
The big twist and turns. Yeah, that's why I was kind of surprised when you said Scrubs, because, like, a comedy I feel I can watch over and over again. I think my albums, I kind of have 3... I know we're all kind of, like, cheating and, like, doing more than one. But I think I have 3 albums. It would be Swollen Members, Bad Dreams, because that shit, like, literally probably changed my life. Lil Wayne's The Carter One, because he does that, but it's funny, man, because he could attest, like, Lil Wayne became the biggest rapper in the world I was on the Lil Wayne tip before anybody that I knew. And I'm telling all of my friends, yo, you gotta listen to this guy, you gotta listen to this guy, you gotta listen to that. Like, 4 out of 5 of them were like, fuck this guy. His voice is so fucking annoying. I ain't listening to this shit. Nico is one of them. He's one of them. Couple of our buddies, but I was right with that one, man. Lil Wayne's a beast. But I was on him, like, I remember one day I was just watching 106 in Park, and the music video for Go DJ came on, and I was like, who the fuck is this guy? This was sick. And then I just went to the HMV and bought the CD of the Carter One, and I just remember being like, man, this guy is fucking sick. So Swollen Members, Bad Dreams, Lil Wayne's The Carter One, and 50 Cent's Get Rich or Die Trying.
Well, I remember like at one point, like, because I used to get all my music from Fred, and like I'd like go to his computer, take music, and he had over 1,000 Lil Wayne songs on his iPod, like on his iMac, and I'm like, yo, like, how do I like not take any of this?
Yeah, that when people ask me who my favorite rapper is, I usually say Jay-Z. But if people say if I was stranded on a desert island, or I say, if I was stranded on a desert island and I could only listen to one artist's discography, I'd pick Lil Wayne for sure. Because he has like 2,000 songs, man. You could literally press play on shuffle and not hear the same song for
A month.
I don't know about a month. I was gonna say a week or two.
Well, you're not listening to constantly. You sleeping, like doing other stuff. Like,
yeah. Well, if you're on an island, that might just be playing. Sean's dad style, just playing all day, all night, just playing.
maybe.
Anyway, TV show, it would probably have to be The Wire as well. Although my only like caveat to that is that The Wire, for somebody with my level of intelligence, which just makes me, you'd think I'm about to say I'm super smart, but I'm actually so fucking dumb that I missed so much shit in that show that I watched the show, then I went on Reddit and like binged Reddit, like so many, I fucking scrolled forever, opened so many links, did all this research and shit. Then watching the show again with all of that knowledge is probably even better because there's so much underlying shit in The Wire. There's a character in The Wire that you see cop drugs for the first time, you see as like a bottomed out junkie, and then you see in rehab, and she has like 2 lines the whole time. You only like the only time she speaks is when she's copping. And just like something like that, I would never have noticed that, like the themes, all that shit. I'm just like not smart enough to fucking put together.
Yeah, but then you'll notice like weird shit when we're watching a show or movie or something though, like a camera or like a microphone or something like in the corner. Like,
yeah, and then like when I noticed cuts and stuff like that, you guys were always appreciative of that. That was something like from the Nate program, right? That I did with your pops or whatever. My friends and I would like, this was back when viral videos were like, this is like 10, 15 years ago ish. So like when things were, they'd show me a video and I'd be like, yeah, that shit's fake. And they'd be like, why? I'm like, because they cut right before the thing happened. And like, if they were actually trying to do this legit, that would have been one whole thing. But then it would be cool because they would be watching and I'd be watching a movie or a music video or something. At the end of it, I'd be like, fuck, that was so dope. And it'd be like kind of average. And they'd be like, why? I'm like, because they did that whole thing in one take. And they'd be like, fuck, I didn't even realize that. Like the camera never cut away. And I'm like, yeah, man, let's watch it again. Then they'd be like, fuck, that is kind of dope. Like everything had to be perfect. I'm like, yeah, like that's why that was dope, is because they never cut away from it or whatever. My movie, I think it would have to be Shawshank Redemption. Just because, like, I fucking love that movie. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. Spoiler alert if you haven't seen Shawshank, but, like, you think he kills himself. Like, everyone watching that movie for the first time is like, fuck, this guy fucking kills himself. Then he's not in there, and you're like...
And then you see the master plan laid out.
And you're like, this fucking guy. Brilliant. I fucking loved it.
I actually just watched that movie recently.
The first season of Prison Break is a show I wish I could watch again.
Definitely
for the first
agree
time.
with that.
It falls off, but that first season was so fucking good. That has to be the TV show that had the biggest, like, whoop, whoop in history. Like, it was so fucking good, then it just became so trash.
Well, it's like that show, like Survivor. Like, I remember watching it, like, the first couple seasons when I was a kid. And now they're on, like, season, like, 50 of that show, bro.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, like, it's, like, for sure, like, in the 40s, for sure. Like, it's crazy how long they've been running that show.
Did you guys ever watch Kenny versus Spenny?
Oh, fuck yeah.
Yo, I love that show.
That's right, dude. That's we spent hours watching that.
What do you think your favorite episode or premise of that one was? Like who
There's
could?
so many.
Yeah.
I actually just found like recently, like Kenny has his YouTube and he like is putting all of the episodes up in 4K, so you can like there's like, a bunch of them on YouTube, like you can watch in 4K, and yeah, there's some fucking crazy ones, man. Because like even like I was like rewatching it a bit and like. First, it's like pretty tame, and then like by the end of the season, bro, they do some wild shit, man.
My favorite,
like who can be tied? Like they literally like tie each other together, both wearing just like thongs, basically, and like they see who can like stay tied together the longest, like dick to dick, man, like face to dick, like, and it's like they're like trying to crawl, and they like get a skateboard from the crew, and they're like skateboarding around the to like the kitchen, and like
I never saw that one.
Oh,
I think
man.
my favorite one. There's one where they like do acid, right?
No, there's one where like. Buddy like spikes Kenny with acid,
and then there's like a squid or whatever.
Yeah, that's
that
the
one.
competition. Who can wear an octopus on their head the longest?
Yeah, that one I remember being so fucking funny. And then the other one when it was like who could I always liked it when Kenny would try to cheat, but then he'd end up losing because he was cheating. I'd always kind of like those ones. So the one where they were trying to break laws and then he ends up getting a parking ticket or whatever.
Yeah.
I like that one too.
Then that same episode with the breaking the laws, doesn't Kenny? He's sitting on the front lawn, and it's illegal to solicit abortion there, and he was just burning the end of a coat hanger as people walked by, and it said freedom. True story. That's in that episode.
Yeah. I think one of them asks for something in a convenience store and reaches up and steals a pack of smokes and gets away with it. Actually steals a pack of smokes. Like, that's funny.
Oh,
yeah, that show is classic. But yeah, I think those.
And that's
ones.
Canadian.
That's
from
right.
Toronto.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's give us a fucking rundown here of what you got. Speaking about abortion.
Oh,
Hey, look at that
good
segue. I'm a fucking
yeah.
professional.
So just
I'm a journalist. I'm
That's
a
right.
professional.
So, just a summary of Roe v. Wade was a Supreme Court case that started in 1971 and ended in 1973. And it was this, hold on here, let me find where I was. There was this lady named Norma McCorvey, whose alias at the time was Jane Roe. So there's the Roe from the Roe v. Wade. And she was a single woman who was pregnant. She brought a suit in the Texas federal court against Henry Wade, who was district attorney of Dallas County, because she could not get an abortion in Texas, as Texas had a law prohibiting abortion. So unless the life of the mother was in danger, they could not get an abortion. So she said she could not get the abortion done in Texas as her life was not in danger, and she could also not afford to travel to another state to get the abortion done. She claimed that the law of Texas prohibiting abortion had violated their rights under the 1st, 4th, 5th, 9th, and 19th Amendments of the Constitution. She also stated she was suing for herself and on behalf of all women who were in position. She ended up winning the case based on certain facts. The First Amendment of the United States Constitution protects the right to petition freedom of religion, freedom of press, freedom of speech, and freedom of assembly. It is part of the United States Bill of Rights. So she went through this list of all these amendments and how they were being violated, and she ended up winning the case. So that took it from state. So before this, all states could control the right to abortion. So then it went to a federal. So then the federal had a blanket law, so that people could get abortions as long as they were in the first trimester. So last week, the United States Supreme Court decided to reverse that and put the power from the federal back into the states. So now each state can go through and they can decide whether or not they want to allow abortion, whether it's through the first trimester or through any trimester. Or not any trimester, whether they can get it at all or if it's still what it was up to the first trimester. So a lot of states are threatening to go back to the way it was, and it's starting there's going to be a lot of more civil human rights protests now based on abortion rights and how it could extend to potentially gay marriage and things like that.
It's weird because, like, the one thing that I was just thinking about when you were saying all that, when it comes to, like, the state and the federal thing, is it's the opposite of how they're dealing with marijuana. Like, I remember, like, California or whatever, it was, like, legal or decriminalized or whatever, and Colorado and some other places. But then it was still federally illegal. So you could operate as this place and everything would be all good. And then all of a sudden the feds would just show up. Like,
It's still like that to this day, man.
yeah,
Like,
but
they
then
can't
this is
use
like the
banks.
opposite is what I'm saying. Whereas it's like that is legal in the state, but federally they can come arrest you. Where now with this abortion thing, it's illegal in your state. How come the federal government in this case can, like, they're not going to come and overrule them saying that it's guilty. Like, it's just a weird, like, dichotomy of how it's, like, opposite. That the federal government can come and tell the states, like, you said it's legal, but we're saying it's still illegal for weed. And then as soon as it comes to abortion, we're like, well, we're saying it's legal, but if you want to say it's illegal, like, that's cool, and we're not going to do anything about it. That's just kind of a weird, like, backwards dichotomy.
Yeah, but I think, like, when they, like, set that precedent from that case, like, that was, like, the way the states work is whenever, like, a judge decides something, that's, like, going forward, that's, like, the way it is.
That's precedent. So that's
yeah.
their first.
So, like, now that they overturned it, like, whatever, like, that the federal government enacted because of that, like just, like, erases. And now it's back on the states to just do what they want.
Yeah, I just think it's weird how, like, that, with what both topics are, how they assigned it like that. I don't know. I just think it's weird. But maybe I'm just kind of going down a weird rabbit hole.
I don't know. It's just something to, like, create more division and, like, get people fighting each other, man.
Well, a lot of people have been saying that a lot of federal powers are being returned back to states. So a lot of people think from some weird places that I've on YouTube that I've gone down the rabbit hole of, that everyone thinks things are going to start going back to state-run government and that the federal government's going to be slowly phased out. Not everybody, but the sites that I've looked at. So this is just another example of that.
But like, don't they want to like not go with like less government? They want more government. They want like world
brother.
control, you know? Like,
Well, this opinion says that states have a legitimate interest in regulating abortion and other matters like that because a law regulating abortion, like other health and welfare laws, is entitled to a strong presumption of validity. If there is a rational basis on which the legislator could have thought that it would serve legitimate state interests. So these legitimate interests include respect for and the preservation of prenatal life at all stages of development, the protection of maternal health and safety, the elimination of particularly gruesome or barbaric medical procedures, the preservation of the integrity of the medical profession, and the mitigation of fetal pain. So they have all of that means that they can do all this and make more money because now they have extra little things that they can check on, right? So it's all about, from what I'm picking up from that, they're talking about making money.
well, yeah, and that's the whole American healthcare system.
Everything,
It's
yeah.
all about making money. Like,
But now they can break it down into all these little subcategories, and then they can collect money based on all these little extra things.
you guys hear about Mark Cuban's new like drug company?
Yeah, my one buddy said Mark Cuban gonna be dead in 2 years. Hold on, we'll get to that in 1 second. One thing that I've always taken from The Wire is the one character says, you follow the drugs, you're going to get drug users and drug dealers. You follow the money, and you have no idea what you're going to find. And I always think about that. So, like, if you take out to, like, this case, you follow the abortions, all you're going to find is, like, conservative government officials and people against that protesting. Follow the money? Fuck, man, you have no idea where that will take you. There's probably a lot of like corruption and a lot of those like, I don't know, man, religion. Personally, I think abortion, like, I'm not trying to tell anybody what to do with their body. I'm pretty sure I can speak for the three of us saying that. Like, I'm not telling women that they can't have abortions by any means. I think the only person who should have some input, and I don't even mean like necessarily 50-50, but some input, is the father. I don't think it's 100. Like, I don't think that like his opinion should be taken into consideration. He can't tell the girl what to do or what not to do, and it ultimately is her final decision. But I do genuinely think the father should be taken into consideration. Like him saying, like, yo, right now I do not want to have.
But what if he's the unintended father? Like he did it through nefarious purposes. Like what if the woman's a victim of the big old R word or something like that? Then should the father get a say in that?
Well, no, that's just heinous.
Okay,
like
good
that,
enough.
you if you're committing R words on people, you are no longer, you and father are no longer synonymous in my head. You're just a fucking goof.
Dirtbag.
Like, yeah,
Bad things are gonna happen to you.
yeah, like that. That's not a conversation anymore. If you ever touch any girl like against her will, she says no, and you keep going, la da da. Like, I don't have any respect. Like, I'm not about that. That's not cool.
But like, that's why it's on you, man, to like wrap that shit up and make sure like.
Yeah, that too.
Like,
that too. Pull out and wrap up.
Just be responsible. But if accidents happen, it's up to the. No one should be telling other people what they can and can't do with their fucking body.
I agree. I just think the father should have an ability to voice some sort of opinion,
And right
that
now
it should
you have
be
zero.
And at the end, if the father's like no and the mother's like yes, like they're
That's a whole conversation we shouldn't get into.
Yeah.
and like it's on her, but like you knew at this time he didn't want to go through with this. Da 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 da. It's a whole conversation, but I don't want to like 75-25. Like, she's still the vast majority, but the father's opinion should at least be heard and voiced and taken into consideration.
For sure, you were part of the process to get there.
Yeah, and you're gonna be part of the process after.
Yeah, but let's.
But you fucked
Move
up. You fucked up. So that's your decision. That's what happened. So, but as far as like governments enforcing that, I think that's really, really fucked up. I don't think any government should be able to tell you what you can and cannot do with your body. I don't know. That even goes to like the vaccine thing. Like,
Well,
it's just that's fucked up.
I was hanging out with Topher yesterday, and he was actually talking about it, and like he was like, yeah, like there's like reasons, and like, you know, but it's only like 7% of the actual abortions are like for like medical reasons or like whatever reasons that like it should be done. And he's like, the other 93%. I was like, yeah, like it's, you know, accidents and shit that happens. And he's like, well, what about the girls that like get 20 abortions? And I was like, well, that's probably even less than 7%. Like,
That's the thing.
you
I
know,
don't
like,
think abortions should be childcare.
no, but like
Like,
definitely some people abuse it that way.
100%.
But like, I'm not saying that that's most people. Like,
I
they should
agree.
be available to anyone that needs to, because like
I agree.
there's situations that come up, like accidents or whatever. Like,
And then what are you gonna have to try to prove that this girl didn't? Say her boyfriend does knock her up, and that's against the rules. But if you got a fucking R word, it's not, or you got a whatever. They're just gonna say that. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, and it's so fucked up how like often that happens, and it's not even the truth, and then these guys are like ruined because of like these accusations, and then there's no repercussions after.
no, shout out Johnny Depp, City Boys be up, Toxic Boys for life.
Right?
Even though really she was the toxic one, but I know you don't give a fuck about that. But it was just dope to see a guy win and there actually be some repercussions. Like she has to pay him money that she doesn't even have for
Fun.
trying to talk shit on his name.
A couple people at work told me I was looking like fucking Johnny Depp from Blow, with wearing a suit and with the hair, glasses on and shit.
George Young, yeah.
George Young, yeah.
A little bit taller, but okay.
yeah, with those white pants. I seen you there the other day. You just need to get the real big fucking collars that I actually watched that movie like a week ago. The real big collars on the suit that he's got.
Such a good
sweet.
movie.
So yeah, I don't know, man. I really think that is fucked up on a state level, on a municipal level, on a federal level, telling a woman what they can do with their body, or any human what they can do with their body, is just fucked up. Even like the World Cup in Qatar, apparently if you have non-marital sex, they're gonna sentence you to like 7 years in jail. It's like, what? I don't know, man. It's just...
Well, I know like in like Dubai and a few places like that, like they have like super strict laws, but then like they have like an alternate set of laws for tourists, because they know,
foreigners,
like,
yeah,
like they're not gonna know all of this like crazy shit, so like they just kind of like, you know, let them pass on a few things. And like,
They're saying that in the news, though. Apparently, if you're not married and you have sex during the World Cup, like you hook up with somebody, you can get 7 years in jail for having like non-marital sex. Like that's in the news. It's like, what the fuck? And then another thing, apparently, if you have homosexual sex, you can be sentenced to death. Allegedly. I mean, I didn't look into it, but that's what they said. You guys have anything more on this Roe versus Wade? Whatever. Fuck Wade. At the end of the day, hashtag fuck Wade. Little bitch. It's kind of becoming my little thing on this thing. On
The
this
little
podcast.
bitch?
I just call people little bitch all the time. Yeah, little bitch. Anyway, what would we rather do or not do?
Okay.
Mr. Zach.
So it's not exactly a would you rather, but I just wanted to give you guys a quick little something to ponder. I'm stealing this from Theo Vaughn, but it's incredibly
Nice.
hilarious.
Theo Vaughn is just quite the character.
Legend, yeah. He's like, you ever just look at a person in a wheelchair and wonder if their parents just never taught them how to walk? What do you think about that? You think that's possible?
No, I don't think you really have to be taught to walk. I think it just happens.
Okay, so the would you rather's turned into a fuck, marry, kill. And
Wait, hold on. Could you imagine the person that just didn't observe everyone around them walking and just accepted?
Well, that's why it's funny to think about.
And then all of a sudden they were just like, "Wait, hold on, is that what these things? Oh shit! Like that's what you guys been doing this whole fucking 20 years? You've been walking with these things?"
Well, bro, there's some fucked up people out there that did some fucked up stuff to kids. So
Yeah, the Gypsy Rose story. Is that what you're thinking of?
There's a couple that I've like heard about, like, and it's just
Gypsy
like,
Rose is the super famous girl that ended up murdering her mom with a boyfriend, and the mom did like Munchausen or whatever the fuck syndrome, and like kept saying she was sick, and like told doctors she had cancer, and like pumped her full of drugs for a bunch of years, and made her be in a wheelchair, and she didn't need none of that shit.
Oh yeah,
And
they're making a movie about that.
Well, there's movies, there's an HBO show, there's TV shows, and yeah, it was all bullshit. And then like some people started to figure it out that like the hospital records weren't adding up and this and that, and then the girl kind of started to get tired of it because she realized that like I mean, this is all in a TV show. If it ever actually happened, who knows? But like at night and shit, she'd actually be walking around, like she could physically walk, and she started like, you know, she wanted to go to prom and shit, and she started to figure out that she didn't need all of these things being done to her, and kind of put it together that her mom was fucking her over. And then she got an internet boyfriend through like a chat group or whatever the fuck back in like the early 2000s. And then, yeah, she ended up murdering her mom, and she's in jail right now. But then like a lot of the people don't even like necessarily feel bad for her. Or like, sorry, they don't like think she should be in jail. Did you fuck up, Zach?
Well, the screen went black like 5 minutes ago, I guess. Fuck.
Uh-oh.
Yeah,
Technical difficulties.
I only got 28 minutes of video recorded right now.
Damn.
And I'm at 55 of audio.
Damn.
So that must mean I might have ran out of fucking space.
Probably.
Damn.
Okay, we'll keep going on the audio and then we'll just make something happen here.
All right.
You guys got a logo to just like paste over for the second half of the video?
I don't know. We'll figure it out. We'll figure something out. But yeah. So that is one story of that, and then a lot of the people are, like, feel really bad for her that she is in jail. But she's even said that she feels more free in jail than she ever did in her life because her mom, like, fucked her up so badly.
Yeah, that's pretty wild. But I was thinking about another one. I can't remember some of the specifics, but it was like this kid was like basically like locked in a room for his like first like 11 years of his life, man, and like only brought like food, and it's like, yeah, like when they like found him, he like couldn't talk, couldn't walk, like he could barely function as a human, like.
It's wild.
And then like they called him the feral child, I'm pretty sure.
Oh yeah, I think I read like his wiki on that one day, and he like almost acts more like a dog than he does
Right.
like a human because he was almost like raised by dogs or some shit, or like
I don't-
he observed more from
Right.
animals than he did from humans or some crazy shit like
There's
that.
some messed up people out there.
For real.
And like that's what like people have like seen or like, you know, talked about. Like imagine all the stuff that like those people don't make it out, and it's just like that's their life, and then it's over, you know.
There's just some heinous fucking people out there, man. It's wild.
Big time.
All right, let's get to the fucking marry, kill, fuck.
Okay, fuck, marry, kill. Chris Rock, Kid Rock, or The Rock?
Chris Rock, Kid Rock, or The Rock? Shout out Kid Rock, though. He's probably actually one of like the most talented musicians that people shit on all the time. He plays every single instrument when he performs live, and to the best of my knowledge, he's the only person that has a platinum album in the rock category, the rap category, and the country category. Like, say what you will about his music or his political views or whatever, but that's pretty fucking impressive, dude. And apparently he's a DJ. Like, he'll just show up at clubs and like kick the DJ out of the booth and start DJing with his laptop and shit and just like kill it.
Damn.
Yeah, apparently he's like super talented musically, but like a fucking redneck.
Apparently, like Shaq's like a DJ now too.
Yeah, Shaq's a
and
DJ.
like
Yeah.
Ryan was telling me, he's actually like
Pretty decent.
Yeah, like actually like knows what he's doing and stuff, not
Yeah.
just like.
I see. That's the thing is like because there's always hype about like the press play DJs where you know Zach's actually really musically talented and he produces something and I'm just there and I press play and I just act like I know what I'm doing, but if he isn't, I don't know enough to look and see that if he's a press play DJ or not. I hope not. If they say he's dope. I just remember somebody brought like a little Fisher Price basketball net to one of the things, and so they were like 5 rows deep, and they threw him a ball, and he sat there and he fucking hit it, and then it made it like the rounds on Instagram. And it's like Shaq finally hits his free throws. Okay, so kill, fuck, marry The Rock, Chris Rock, and Kid Rock. I'd probably want to marry. I want to fuck The Rock because, like, man, like, you know, let's go. He's a beast.
I think I'm gonna marry The Rock, bro. Dude's like a billionaire.
Yeah, because I was even gonna. Yeah, no, you're right. That actually changes my not because like I was even gonna kind of say Kid Rock because of all the money and shit. Because I'm sure he's quite rich, but like fuck, putting up with that redneck ass all day would be fucking annoying. So I'm gonna kill Kid Rock, even though I just praised him for the last 30 seconds. I'm gonna marry The Rock because, you know, yoke dude, super handsome, rich, charming, and I get to be friends with Kevin Hart, so that'd be cool. And then I'm gonna fuck Chris Rock because that'll just be a fun night where he charms me with his humor. He fucking takes me out and charms me and then gets the best of me.
Okay. Well, I'll have to marry The Rock, I'd say.
Yeah.
And then probably kill Chris Rock, just because it'd probably be more fun with a night with Kid Rock.
A night with Kid Rock would be wild because, you know, it'd just be like...
Who knows what the fuck? Like,
Yeah, that fuck session probably be like an orgy with like a midget, 6 strippers, and you and him and another dude, and it's just like, all right,
right? Like some wild.
some wild fucking Dennis Rodman shows up, and you're like, okay, cool. What about you, Zach?
I would probably marry Chris Rock because he'd be funny all the time.
I did think about that, but he's funnier than me, so I'd be annoyed.
Oh, that's okay. I don't have issues with that.
I do because I got an ego and I like being funny.
Fair enough. I would probably have sex with Dwayne The Rock Johnson because it'd probably just be a pretty interesting time. And then I'd probably kill Kid Rock, even though I do love his music. Or not love his music, but I do appreciate his music talent. My dad, shout out Dave, loves Kid Rock. Or
Does
used
he?
to. He went to his concert, man.
Fuck, I wish I knew that when I went to school.
Dude, he's got a mullet.
Or when I didn't go to school with your dad.
Yeah,
When I went to school and your dad taught me.
Yeah.
Yeah, your dad does have a mullet.
So he's got to like Kid Rock at least a little bit. It's in his DNA.
But you gotta watch out, man. If you fucking The Rock, like, I fucked a little Asian girl that weighed 100 pounds, and like you can like toss her around. So like, he's just gonna be tossing you around.
No, you're gonna be getting tossed around. You are the 100-pound Asian girl.
No, the question wasn't get fuck, marry, kill. It's fuck. So I'll be fucking him.
Until he decides not to.
What is consent, Zach? No.
Well, that's the game. Don't make me sound like a sicko, man.
And then you got a fact for us?
Yeah. Do you guys know? Are you familiar with Dunbar's numbers?
Nope.
So Dunbar's numbers is a suggested cognitive limit to the number of people with whom we can maintain meaningful relationships.
Oh, I do know this actually.
Yeah. So I think Rogan talked about it a while back or something. But the number's 150, and the breakdowns are as follows. So the first 5 people, the closest to, are the support clique, and it's our tightest circle of loved ones to which we devote our 40% of our social time, around 40% of our social time. There's the sympathy group, which is 15 people, and these are our good friends. On average, we devote an additional 20% of our social time to the additional 10 people in this category. Okay, so that was an extra 10 people. So the next one's an extra 35 friends of your close network, and they're added in. The next people would be 100 people, the number you already know about, and this is the supposed average cognitive limit for meaningful relationships. So there, that's how it breaks down. What do you think
I guess
what do you think about that?
Like, what's the definition of a meaningful relationship?
I guess probably a reciprocated, like a symbiotic one, not like where it's mutually beneficial, not where it's one person's getting a lot more out of it than potentially the other person.
Yeah, and you could you'd consider the person a friend, but not a good friend.
I'm sure like that's like the average, but like I've been reading a lot of books lately, and I think it was a story
Bitch, you've been
about
listening to a lot of books lately.
I have some I'm reading too.
I just give you and Grebo a hard time. You don't read shit. You listen. I don't read podcasts. I listen to them.
So
damn,
I'm just fucking with you. I'm just fucking.
Anyways, what was I saying?
Meaningful relationship numbers.
Oh yeah, so Andrew Carnegie. Apparently, this guy like was so good with relationships. Like he had like 10,000 people that he would like send birthday cards to, and like he just knew like he like.
Who is he? Andrew.
He was like a steel like big steel guy in like the early 1900s in America. I'm pretty sure.
Like a big businessman.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he was like super successful and like just killed it, and like he was just like.
But was he doing that, or did he have like an assistant helping him do that?
I'm sure eventually, but like it was his like.
Either way,
about how
yeah.
He, like,
especially back then, it would have like literally been on a Rolodex.
Well, yeah, that's what I heard about. Like even selling cars, man. Back in the day, like these dudes would like keep track of everything on paper and like write out cards and send it to people on their birthdays. And like now, like since I've been there, it's all digital. Like everything's everything, all the information is digital. You can just like there's
or at least one point the secretary would have taken it over.
Well, you got to be pretty good at sales to have your own like assistant, and like generally like there's a couple guys that do, and like they pay for them out of their own pocket,
which is crazy.
Like I know this one salesman who's in our deal group. He's actually in Saskatchewan, and this guy sells 50 cars a month every month, and it's like he has 2 assistants that like he pays out of his own pocket that like strictly are like phoning people and doing computer stuff for him, and he's just like meets with one customer after another
just doing the legwork.
Yeah, just like closing deals. Like they probably do all the legwork, and then he just like.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Like they do the legwork, and he does like the person work.
Exactly, and just closes them, and like he's probably making $300,000 or $400,000 a year, and it's like.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I think some of those numbers might be like slightly adjusted per person. Like, of course, that person, the guy that you mentioned, Andrew, whatever his name was, is like an exception. There's always going to be exceptions to
Of
every rule,
course.
but and I think those numbers might be like slightly skewed, but for the majority of people, I think it's right. Like if I think of like one of my previous bosses at like the car dealership, or like our buddy Greg, he's like a promoter and a nightclub owner, like a Vince. They know on a personal face to face basis, probably go get dinners with and have business talks and all of that, like a relationship like that eventually is more friendly with some than others, of more than that 150 people or whatever. I'm sure of it, like
Bro,
thousands.
Like, I can't even imagine how many contacts in their phones. Like I remember at one point I had over 800 contacts in my like phone from like all the people from the bar, and I just went through and like cleared
And
out
you
like
weren't even
500.
like a promoter or anything. You
No,
just worked there.
Yeah, I was like worked behind the bar and then managed a few bars for like maybe 5 years, and it's like like Vince doing it for like 30 years, like
he must have like
he probably has a phone full to like 10,000 contacts,
right.
Bro. Like.
But how many of those? But of course, all those people he's not gonna like really know and like enjoy their company and their conversation
No, but
and
like,
shit. But
if he's talking
more
to
than
that many
150 people,
exactly, he's gonna be
for sure.
Right?
But then there's also people like
Mike Kelly, who just, like,
who fucking
sits
talks to
himself.
like 7 people his whole life and he's completely content with that.
Yeah, and like Mike's my boy, but like he's
Fuck,
just,
I almost like jealous of that.
I don't know. I like I've been lucky. All my jobs like kind of have like a people aspect to it, and like.
Yeah, he last time I hung out with him, actually, he was joking. He was calling me a social butterfly. He's like, "You're a social butterfly." And I looked at him and he was like, "What? You are?" And I was like, "No, I mean, no, you're not wrong. It's just funny how you said that, a social butterfly." So yeah, I do like really being sociable with people and like talking and getting out and conversing and all that. So I guess it's just nice to have a solid crew of people, which I do have, which you do need to have. If that's 5 people, I'm not necessarily like. Do your parents count? Are those are those almost automatically for everybody, number 1 and 2?
No.
Right? Like, does family count? Do all your cousins and shit count?
I'm definitely not as close with my parents as you are. Like, but like I still like love my parents and like, but like I definitely like, I don't know. It was just like a little bit different. I don't know.
Yeah. Yes and no, because you're pretty close with your mom. But it's like different, like you just said. Like we don't got to get into like our fucking lives, but like it's kind of different. You know what I mean? For sure. Since moving out, though, I've gotten closer with them than I did when I was living with them. That's for sure. But yeah, if family doesn't necessarily count, then those numbers are probably a lot closer and more accurate, I think.
Well, it depends on your family too. Some people have 6 people in their family. Like when I go out of my family farm in Viking for like family reunion. There's like fucking 60 people in that house, dog. Mm-hmm. Like all of my like aunts and uncles and cousins and like like right, and like I don't even know how big my family is in Lebanon. Like it's crazy.
What about you? Do you think those numbers accurately describe your relationships?
No. I don't have that many friends or relationships that I care to maintain. Like I don't have 150 people that I have to talk to, or like I probably got about, besides my family, like 15 people.
But that's what I mean. Like, what level of maintain? Like, do you have a guy at work that you know a little bit about his life, and on Monday you'll be like, "Fucking hey, Brad, how was the weekend? Did you end up going to soccer with your kids or whatever?"
But that's probably. But it's so that's what I'm saying. Like, as far as my work crew and my close friends go and stuff, the people that I actually interact with on even a weekly basis, there's probably no more than 30 people maximum.
Yeah, to be honest, mine's probably like not that high. Not 150 people that
not even close for me.
There's 150 people that work in the store that I work at. Like, and then never mind all the customers. Like, I'm not saying those are my friends.
Yeah, the customers don't count.
Like, and I know like most of them, like we talk, and like now that I've been there for so long, like, you know, like if there's a new guy that starts, I pretty much don't even bother to learn his name unless he's there for 2 or 3 months. Because like the
turnover is just
so high in the sales side of the dealership. It's actually pretty crazy. Like since I've been there in 5 years, pretty much the whole sales floor is switched out. Like when I first started, this average age on the sales floor was probably like 35, maybe a little bit less.
Yeah,
but
I
like,
would say about that, 35, 30.
Right now, if it wasn't for these 2 old guys that work there, the average age on our sales floor probably couldn't drink in Vegas. I'm not even joking.
I was gonna say like 20. I clearly I don't work there anymore, but just going there to deliver the vehicles and like looking around. Who's the other old guy? Not Ray.
There's a new guy, Todd. He sits like right by the doors.
And how old is he? Like Ray's age?
Yeah, right around there. Like he's got grandkids.
Okay, yeah.
Super nice
Definitely.
dude.
I was going to say like 23 or 24 is what I would have said, but I don't know how many of them are like 18, 19.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy, man. Because like
They're making
they
good
realize,
money.
like, yeah, and like they just realize, like, you got all these old guys that are stuck in their ways. It's so much easier to get a young kid that wants to work the 13-hour, 14-hour days, and like they'll actually learn how to do the processes the right way instead of just these old guys that are like writing it on the back of their cigarette pack. You know, like it's all digital now. Like there's the apps that you can like you put the information right on your phone when you're out in the lot, and it like links right to the computer on the website like instantly. You scan the VIN and like you have their trade info, and like you take a couple pictures on the app, uploads to the website. Like it's crazy, man. How like efficient some of these things are.
Before we get out of here, I have almost like it's kind of like a would you rather that I've been thinking about lately that stems from the car dealership. Josh can attest to this. When a group of like, there's no way I can say this without sounding racist, so fuck it. But like when a group of like, so the premise of what I'm saying is there any time where one of your like friends or family members could phone you and be like, yo, I'm looking for a new vehicle. Are you down to come like vehicle shopping with me? And I don't mean vehicle shopping as in like going to a bunch of different lots and looking at vehicles and like maybe hanging out when you talk to the odd salesman. I mean like crowding around the salesman desk like 6, 7, 8 people deep and going to 8 dealerships and going through the whole process with this person. Is there anybody in your life you would do that for?
I mean, just because I've worked in a car dealership like 10 years, and like if somebody was like, yo, like come help me, like I'd be like, yeah, like all right, like I'll help you out. Like Nico should have hollered at me when he was looking for his car, because
Yeah,
like
should've.
he fucked up.
Yeah, he did fuck up.
Like,
because like
I'm not trying to make any money, and I'll make sure you get the best deal that I can like get you. You know, like that's one of the things about not being in the sales side. Like I'm just like making
you
sure.
don't give a fuck about the money.
No, exactly. Like the dealership still got to make a few bucks. Like we got to keep the lights
Of course,
on. Like
everyone does.
right, but like we're not gonna make 10 grand. Like you know, we'll make 2 grand. You know.
Because I don't know which religion they are, which culture they are, but there'll always be like groups of brown dudes that'll come in and they'll be like 6 or 7 people deep, and it's so fucking funny, man. As soon as they walk in the dealership, all of the OG salesmen that are say it's like seasoned veterans that would usually be jumping on a new lead, all of a sudden get super busy and have not a second of time, and then some fucking young kid will go over there getting fed to the fucking wolves. And, like, man, you'll be grinding for, like, 8 weeks with these people, looking at every single number, every single everything, until they get the... By the end of it, you're pretty much giving them the keys and being like, take the fucking thing and never talk to me again. Go fuck yourself. But I could just not imagine going and sitting there with someone who is not even my vehicle. I'm just going and sitting there grinding the salesman down for you to get your vehicle. And we went and did it at, like, 4 separate dealerships. I couldn't believe it.
Dude, I like saved Nico from buying a car one day.
I was there.
Yeah, like
we pulled him out and drove him away.
yeah, like we were waiting, we were walking around looking at the dealership on White, and then Fred like calls us, so I was like, I'll go meet Fred real quick. Like, don't go inside, just like keep looking at the cars, you know?
Yeah, I'm going to literally pick them up.
Yeah, so I like go find Fred. He's parked. Go grab him. We're walking back to the dealership, and we can't see Nico outside anywhere. So like walk inside the building. Sure enough, he's sitting at some dude's desk, got like papers in front of him. I was
The
like,
square or whatever is already drawn on the piece of paper. The car salesman, what is it called?
"Is that Foursquare?"
It's already drawn on the piece of paper.
What kind
I
of car
remember
was
that.
it?
I don't even remember. I think it was a
Cadillac, something like that. And I was like, bro, like, let's go. Like, get up and just, like, let's go right now. Like, and
He's
what do you
like,
mean?
oh,
Like,
talk about the guy. We're
I
like,
was
Josh
no.
is like, no, right now. Let's fucking go.
And as we're, like, leaving, the dude, like, comes running outside. And he's like, yo, like, trying to chase us down. And we're like, yo, like, I was like, sorry, man. Like, we're all good. Like,
Yeah, it ain't happening. You ain't selling this kid a car today. Get in the car, Nico. Let's go. I remember that day, too. Nico's like, Josh's like, no. Fuck that. Get up. Let's go. Like, don't even let the guy come back. He's going to come back. Let's go right now. Yeah, that was actually
I mean, it sucked for
fucking
that
funny.
salesman because, like, that was a sure thing. But, like, like, bro, if Nico would have had an hour in there, he would have been signing docs.
Yeah, more than likely.
Like, oh, man.
Anything else you hoodlums would like to talk about? Going once? Going twice?
So.
That's been another episode of 7 Days Makes 1 Week. You can't see me, but you can hear me. Thank you for joining us again. Make sure you rate, review, subscribe, like, comment, all that fucking shit that I'm supposed to say at the beginning that I never ever fucking say. Join us next week.